What's up, everybody? Last week we got Season 5 of Black Ops 6 in Warzone, so of course, new season means we gotta talk about the meta. Yesterday we did the long-range meta, today we are talking about the close-range meta. Before we get into that, of course, we're gonna go through the loadouts and then true game data at the end, so I'm gonna link true game data down below if you wanna do some comparisons of your own. Also, my Twitch link down below if you wanna come hang out while I play Warzone or Apex or whatever betas or new games I'm trying out or single-player Sundays. I do all that live on Twitch if you want to come hang out. That's linked down below, as well as all my other social medias, my single player channel, my car social medias if you're into cars, and my car YouTube channel. So any support's appreciated anywhere, especially here. So please don't forget to like the video and comment down below when I'm done and let me know what your thoughts are. But let's get into the loadouts. All right, so starting off at number 5, I like to throw in the Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2 guns from time to time because some of them are actually still viable. The MX-9 is one that you can use. We have the Striker here, because the Striker's a little bit better than the MX-9, but both of them are actually pretty good right now. So we have the XRK Sandstorm, helps us with recoil control and gun kick control. They made a lot of the muzzles the same, or pretty much the same, but we're good with the XRK Sandstorm. Then we have the Striker Recon Long Barrel, which helps with bullet velocity and range, as well as aim, idle, sway. There's also the Elite Barrel, which helps with recoil control, gun kick control, bullet velocity, and range. But the only penalties for the Recon Long Barrel are sprint to fire speed and hip fire and tac stance spread. I don't really worry about aim walking speed. Whereas you lose movement speed in sprint to fire speed while also losing hip fire and tac stance spread. On the Long Barrel, you get more bullet velocity and range on the Recon Long Barrel over the Elite Barrel. If you're struggling with like the recoil, then go with the Elite Long Barrel, I guess, but it doesn't have a whole lot of recoil outside of visual recoil, so not too worried about that. Then we have the Jack Slash, helps movement speed, sprint speed, and vertical recoil. Hurts the hip fire and tac stance spreads, but ADS, I guess. 60 round drum. You can go 48 for solos or duos, but otherwise go 60 for trios and quads. And then high grain ammo, helps bullet velocity, damage range. Can't do 8 attachments, unfortunately, because it's an MW3 gun. So if you're struggling to see, there's a little bit of visual recoil and a little more muzzle smoke on the Modern Warfare guns, drop the high grain rounds and go with your choice of optic, whatever optic you prefer. Maybe Jack Glassless. You can also go with, where is it? You can also go with like the Seiken ZX grip to help with the firing aim stability, which is the visual recoil. Or you can go no stock. You get more recoil and but you get a lot more movement speed. You can also with like the MK2 light stock with helps with sprint and movement speed, but you lose some gun kick control. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. I think this is the best overall way to do it. But you can drop the high grain rounds and either reduce the visual recoil with the stock, improve your movement speed with like the light stock, or go an optic if you can't see. For the laser, you can go the Chimera laser light, and it helps sprint to fire speed and tac stance spread, aim down sight speed, all of that. But you don't need it as much because it's an SMG, so we're not as worried about the aim down sight speed and all that. At number 4, we have the LC10. The LC10 has dropped all the way to number 4. The TTK and the multipliers and all that got a heavy nerf. Now, there's like no recoil, almost no visual recoil. So the LC10 is very easy to use. Arguably, maybe should go up one spot on this list, but it is definitely not number 1 or number 2 in this list. In fact, our 1 and 2 are more of a 1A and 1B. That kind of comes down to preference. But the LC10 has dropped down to number 4. It's still good. It's just not great. And if you come up against other things on this list, you're just going to lose if they hit all their shots, even if you hit all yours, unless you hit all headshots and they don't. So we have the 8 attachment build. So we have your choice of optic. We have the compensator. I do reinforced barrel to help bullet velocity and damage range. If you just want to help damage range, go long barrel. I don't think that's as important on an SMG, just like I don't think bullet velocity is as important. So I'd rather just help both. But if I could only help one, I would probably help damage range because it's a little more important than bullet velocity. But neither of those are super important to SMGs. For underbarrels, I have the G grip. I'm still trying to actually play correctly with the G grip because you got to either start hip firing or ADS and start shooting at the same time. So if you don't have to worry about that, go Ranger foregrip for more sprinting move speed. The LC10 has like no recoil, but if you do think it has too much recoil, you can go vertical foregrip instead to help with more horizontal recoil. The G grip helps with horizontal recoil, but it doesn't help as much as the vertical grip, and you don't get the sprint speed of the Ranger foregrip. So any one of those three, it's really up to preference. I might switch back to the Ranger foregrip. Extended mag 2, 55 rounds. You can go extended mag 1, but once again, I wouldn't recommend that for anything past duos. It could maybe work in trios if you're hitting all your shots, but I would go extended mag 2. The ADS penalty is not going to kill you as much as not having ammo will. I go commando grip to help aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed. If you want to help just sprint to fire speed, go assault grip. If you want to help aim down sight speed more, go quick draw grip. But as usual, I like to help both. Then I go no stock, hip fire movement speed, and strafing move speed. You can go down to the balance stock, which also gives you aim walking move speed. But I'm not as worried about having aim walking move speed. That's more if you're going to play it slow and you're going to be aiming and walking throughout buildings. Because otherwise you're more worried about like strafing move speed in general, and then you just get more move speed, although you should be running with your knife when you're rotating. And then over pressured rounds, it has no recoil, but if you think it has too much recoil, go with the recoil springs. Otherwise go over pressured. It helps bullet velocity, which isn't that important, but it's really only between these two. Rapid fire hurts your overall damage, and it's like almost never useful. And we're not worried about bullet penetration. So either recoil springs or overpressured, but it's got no recoil, so go overpressured. And if you want to go 5 attachments, remove the overpressured, the stock, the commando grip. Actually, I would remove the optic, and I would probably leave on the no stock for the movement speed bonuses. But as always, I like to try to run them in 8 attachments. So I will be always running it like this. So moving on to number 3, we have the compact. The compact is always hung around the top 5. I've never considered it meta, but it's the same build, except there's 3 extended mags, and you need the 3 extended mags. It's only 60 rounds, and this thing absolutely burns through ammo. It cooks through ammo because it kills fast because of its fast fire rate. And the reason it's not higher on this list, despite its really good TTK, is you burn through ammo. And I just don't think it feels super comfortable to shoot. And then the difference between that and the LC10 too is we go recoil springs here because it does shake a lot because it shoots so fast. But if you don't think there's too much recoil, go over pressured. If you're going 5 attachments, I would once again remove the optic. I would remove the recoil springs, and I would remove commando grip. And this is how I would run it with 5 attachments. Of course, it all comes down to preference too. Like if you think it has too much recoil but you want to use it, you could take off the stock, leave the recoil springs, etc., etc. So then moving to number 2, or really 1A or 1B, I have the C9. A lot of people will have this as their 1A, but I have the C9 as my 1B. I really like the C9 and would use it in a heartbeat if 1A got even the smallest nerf. But it kills slightly slower than the one gun ahead of it. Still kills fast enough, super easy to shoot, not a whole lot of recoil. Probably the second least amount of recoil on this whole list. We have the same build. We have the exact same build as we had for the LC10, especially because it doesn't have any recoil. Once again, you can make your modifications like changing your barrel, changing your under barrel, or changing your rear grip, changing your stock. And if you're going 5 attachments, remove overpressured, remove the commando grip, remove the optic. People don't like the iron sights on MP5s that don't have the full circle on the iron sight. I actually like it better open. So I actually really like the iron sights on this. So if you're building 5 attachments, I would definitely remove the iron sights over some other attachments, or remove the optic. And then at number 1, we have the Ladra. Unfortunately, the Ladra's been meta before. It's been meta again, but that's kind of how it goes with the C9 as well. And we have the exact same build that we do on the compact, except it only goes to extended mag 2, but extended mag 2 is 66, and this is another ammo burner, so you're definitely going to want that. I just also think it feels better to shoot than the compact. So this is your best SMG. You could put the C9, I think, ahead of it. I don't think there's any option to put anything else ahead of it. Maybe the compact, especially if you're a little higher skill player. And once again, for 5 attachments, remove the fire mod, the rear grip, and the optic, and run it that way. But that's my top 5 SMGs. If you're just here for loadouts, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like this type of content and want to see it first. And comment down below what your thoughts are on my loadouts, my rankings, whatever. And for the rest of us, we're going to go to True Game Data. Okay, so we're over on True Game Data now, and you can see I have all of these loadouts built exactly how I just had them when we went through the loadouts. And so let's go down here. We look at the TTK. We have this set to 30 meters because it's default at 80, and that kind of gets useless for us. We have it set to the combination shots with the default values that True Game Data has in here. And first of all, look at the LC10. I mean, the LC10 until the compact drops off at 12.5 meters. The LC10 is kind of getting smoked by most things. I mean, the C9's kind of close to it at 574, but that's still 26 milliseconds slower. And so one of the other reasons why the compact isn't higher is because the compact drops off at 12.5. Now, you can go long barrel to push that out a little bit further, but I don't think it pushes it out a lot further. Even with the long barrel, with the long barrel goes to 13.7, but it still drops off second. And then the LC10 really looks bad, right? But the LC10 just drops off so early. And like I said, I like helping both for the compact, especially because you're starting to push it at 13.7 meters to where maybe you could swap to your AR, although I still wouldn't quite there, but you're getting into that range. But we're going to put it back to the gain twist barrel just to look at everything evenly. And so you look at the Striker. The Striker is actually surprisingly good. It's pretty much tied with the Ladra, but it does have like the second best TTK, so things start to drop off. But you can't use it in ranked, which is one of the reasons why it's at number 5. It's got a lot more visual recoil, and you can't do 8 attachments. But you can make an argument that it deserves to be second on this list. We look at the Ladra, which the C9's range is actually so good. It's at up to 15.8 meters, and of course with the long barrel, you can push that out. But you look at the Ladra. The Ladra's beating the C9. Like I said, that's why it really comes down to preference, because the Ladra drops off pretty late too. At 15 meters, you're starting to at least think about your AR, even if you're not pulling it out yet. And really, that's part of the reason why I could say, though, it's 1A, 1B, because the C9 drops off farther, but it doesn't kill quite as fast, but the TTKs are close. The LC10, I think, isn't dead because it's better than a lot of SMGs, but it's just not something that's going to cross my mind unless I feel like just mixing it up for the sake of mixing it up. And then if you want to go down to the bottom, the ADS move speed for the Ladra and the C9 and the LC10 are all at the highest at 3.6. Another reason why the Striker is 5 is the ADS move speed is by far the lowest here. The ADS time for the Ladra is also better than everything except the compact on this list, which is one of the reasons why it's ahead of the C9. And the LC10 is a decent amount behind. The bullet velocity is the worst on the Ladra, and it's not close, but I'm not super worried about that on an SMG. You're not shooting it that far, so you really don't have to worry too much about leading your shots anyways. But the LC10 does still have really good bullet velocity, making it probably better if you're looking at like a sniper support SMG. Crouch speeds, the Ladra and the LC10 tie for number 1, but the C9's like right there, right behind. Striker, of course, is slow. The Ladra's fire rate is a little bit fast for where I like it at 1071 versus the compacts at 1091. I definitely like the LC10s the most on here because I like about 8 to 900. The C9 at 732 is okay. And then the Striker 645 is too slow. Let's see. What else matters? Reload time, they're all slower than the Striker. I think these are in the milliseconds and these are in the seconds. So it's not a whole lot slower, but they all are definitely slow. Those values are not quite right. The sprint speed is the fastest with the Ladra, but it's barely faster than the other options, and it's pretty much not faster than the Striker. Sprint fire, pretty much the fastest, except the C9 is 1 millisecond faster, so that's kind of nothing. And then tac sprint speed is not loaded in here. So the LC10, the Ladra moves well, reloads fast, ADS is fast, and it's not like way behind in any of the categories it's behind in. So other than the damage drop off, it's not behind anything for the C9, and it's better TTK until it drops off at almost 15 meters, which you're starting to think about the AR at that range. So that is my top 5 SMGs right now. You could put another One at number 5, like another Black Ops 6 SMG. But as you can see, the Striker's pretty good. You could also put the MX9 there. I can throw the MX9 on there with, I'm not going to do attachments, but just really quick, just show you the MX9 is still good. All weapons, 30, combination. And there's the MX9. It drops off early, but it's ahead of the C9 and TTK. And of course, this isn't with attachments, right? So, like I said, you could throw the MX9 in there too if you're looking to mix it up. But that's my SMGs. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like this type of content or Apex content or game review content. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can see it and see it first. And like I said, everything will be linked down below. Social medias, Twitch, car-related social medias, and YouTube channel, single-player channel, and of course, True Game Data. Check out any of the links you feel inclined to. I do appreciate the support here and everywhere. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on Verdansk. Get frying. Have a good day. Bye.